morning, little hoes. I'm Kristen and welcome back to my channel. So today's video, we will be experimenting with balls. And not just any balls. They're very specific. They are the Leca balls. Oh, listen to that. Ooh. My experiment is going to be using them for propagation. Typically, they are used a lot in the ponics, so hydroponics, aquaponics, aeroponics, etc. But I've been noticing a cool trend where people use these sort of as a rooting media for cuttings. So what they'll do is they'll fill a glass jar. I'm sure any jar would work, but maybe the glass helps let in some more light for the roots, but they'll fill up a glass container with soaked leca and put in their cuttings and then fill with water to just under the end portion of the cuttings. They are made of clay and they are super porous. They let in a lot of air and they will wick up the moisture from the bottom to help hydrate the cuttings. I've seen a lot of success with them, a number of posts on Instagram showing people using it. So today I thought I might do a little experiment using them and cut up some of my favorite plants to give it a try. Leca. What is it exactly? So LECA, and that stands for Light Expanded Clay Aggregate. So read a little bit about it, and in the process of making them, they will get clay, various types of clay. You can see, look at all that clay. They will get the little clay bits and then heat them up in a rotary kiln to a certain degree, and I'm sure rotary meaning rolls them around to get that round shape, and it helps expand the material. And boyfriend, who is a potter, wanted me to also mention you would sort of call this a bisque stage. So this is still very porous. Next process will be I'm going to wash it, and a number of people have said that they soak their leca for about an hour or so, just to help get them as hydrated as possible before they put them in the cutting jar. So we'll be doing that and then getting some cuttings. So follow me. This is the delicious bowl of leca here, and you can see just how red that water is. So I will be rinsing these guys and then letting them soak for about an hour. That's just pure fun right there. I can't stop doing it. I have a problem. Okay, so one of the plants that I'm going to be getting cuttings off of is my big, beautiful, bodacious Monstera adansonii. So let's get to cutting. And y'all might see my butt a little, so I'm very sorry. Oh look, you can't even see my butt. That's perfect. Just deciding on what to cut. Oh my. That vine hasn't seen sunshine in a while. Okay, so this guy was hidden behind my sofa here. And you can see there's a giant trail tail with no leaves on it, so I'm going to cut this off and then dissect it down some more. What is this stuck on? Ha! This is hilarious. Gonna have to show you something. Let me grab the camera. That one vine I was tugging on and couldn't find the end of decided to poke through my wicker chair. Ha! So that guy is definitely going to be getting the chop. Okay guys, I am back, and so is the sun, which is pretty dreadful for my little winter eyes. Next plant is, I've been debating on this one. It's by far probably one of my most expensive plants I've ever gotten, but since the day I met this big beauty, I've wanted to chop it. I don't know why. This is my variegated Burl Marx philodendron, and the seller I got it from on Etsy sent this amazingly huge plant. Couldn't be happier with it, but as is the way with plant lovers, we just can't help ourselves and want more. And I'm thinking about trying to chop it. And I say trying because if you watch my unboxing video, you will know that I pointed out these very flattened stems here, which make finding a cutting point a little bit difficult. And they are so twisted and entwined. I just don't know, guys. I am still debating if I want to do this. 99% of me does, but then part of me is like, you just spent a lot of money for this big plant. Why are you making it smaller? I don't know. Okay, give me a second to think on this. By the way, this plant smelled really funny. I don't know that I want to take that. Still debating, don't rush me. Okay, I think I have discovered a little portion here that I can cut without ruining the entire look of the plant. Most of these leaves are going upwards, so I'm gonna do it. This is terrifying, guys. This was an expensive plant, but here we go. And also, scissors are the best I can do since I seem to have lost my little pruners. Oh my god, that was scary. Okay. Here's my burl marks, guys. Don't know if you can even see that. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, that smell though is really weird. Kind of smells a little bit like cilantro or celery or something. Very odd. Next one is going to be my philodendron micans. And the lighting's kind of poor in here, but yeah, there's this long trailing bit here that I think I will chop off and try and propagate. I do have another start of the micans, but my dream is to combine them at some point and make a mega micans. So yeah, I will be chopping this off. Then I've had a few requests for starts of my Rex begonia vine, and it can probably stand a trimming anyhow. As you can see, it's trying to get into my cabinet here where I keep the drugs. I will be taking several cuttings of those. I have never propagated the Cissus discolor before, so I'm not quite sure what to expect, but we shall see. I also decided I am going to do a cutting of my Ceropegia sandersonii because I love it. Look at that cool bloom. This is the one I got at SCC. It has pretty much had at least one blossom on it since I got it, which is pretty neat. I also wanted to point out, look at the little nubbins, little rooty nubbins. Okay, so I see a good point here at what I want to cut. This is my mini cutting haul, so let me drain out the Leca. It's been almost an hour, not really quite that long, but good enough. I think that demonstrated just how important it is to rinse your Leca. So this is my jar. I'm hoping it's not too big for my purposes. But now I am going to start filling it, at least part of the way, and then stick my cuttings in. I lost it all. So have it. That was a shot glass that fell down. It's okay though. So now comes putting some of my longest cuttings in. Trim this one down just a smidge. Okay, put too much in, so I'm gonna go through that all again. And right now I'm just trimming off the bottom leaves on my cuttings. Stay. My micins here. It's a pretty long one. I'm thinking I'll do as I did with my last micins propagation, and I will cut it into 2 little bits. So these will be, this and the burl marks will be sort of at the top layer. So this is kind of what I have going on right at the moment. So now I'm just gonna fill this guy up most of the way with water. Alrighty. So you can see my water line's about right here. Now some of the Adansonii are in water, and then the rest of them, the shorter cuttings, are above that water line. So I will put this in a bright but not direct sunlight location. Have not figured that out yet. So I decided to put my cuttings jar in the living room on this rack, partially because it's bright and direct, and I probably will notice it a little bit better, monitor it daily, hopefully. Plus, it's right by the humidifier, so it keeps everything nice and semi-humid. I did want to make quick mention that I've been noticing these little pock marks on my cissus for a while. And I believe they are gall mites, but I have never seen gall mites on houseplants before. Gall mites or blister mites, however you want to say it. So I'm not entirely certain that that's what it is, but that's what it looks like. I've seen it before numerous times on trees. But I decided to keep the cissus separate, that's a tongue twister, from my other main jar, the propagation jar, just so I don't, cross-contaminate or promote whatever this is on my other cuttings. That concludes today's video. Have any of you guys propagated using Leca? / what's your favorite propagation method? Typically, I have just used, for a lot of things, water propagation, and of course, sometimes certain succulents will be totally fine if you just cut them, callus them, and plant them. And at my work, we also have another method, which is to get a nice bin without drainage holes, fill it with perlite, and moisten that pretty well. Stick your cuttings in it, and if you have enough bottom heat, it should do pretty well for multiple cuttings at once. Pretty easy method right there. But I'm excited and also fairly nervous about the Leca, just because I think monitoring the water levels is going to be a little bit difficult, especially since it is fairly dry in my house, and the rack where I put the cuttings is somewhat near an air vent. So I'm just going to have to monitor, see how quickly that clay will dry out. But yeah, I will keep you all posted on how the cuttings do. So I think that's it for now. I'll see y'all later. Bye!